Okay guys, the Jada. This supplies is in my office if you want to come in and play with it. This is very expensive, so you're welcome to play with it, but just don't throw anything away and put it all back together. Okay, so the Jada, when you open it up, it has 3 pieces. So we have our Jada here. On the top in the package would be our 60cc syringe, and then we have suction tubing here. So in a hemorrhage, we're gonna open the Jada as sterilely as possible like this. We're gonna let our OB provider with sterile gloves on reach in and grab the Jada. And you know how it is, you wanna be sterile, but it's actually not that sterile of a process. The first step is to remove the air from the cervical seal. So we're gonna take our syringe and deflate the balloon and then take that off. I'm gonna set that there like it's going into the patient, okay? So the nurse's responsibility is to set up the suction. So we're gonna hook this to the Jada, and then this will go to our suction. At Skills Fair, there won't be suction. You're just gonna verbalize. I'm gonna hook this to suction, and we're gonna set it to 80 continuous. And then you need to fill the balloon with fluid, and it works really well with the package because this is a sterile environment. So you take your fluid and just pour it right into here, making a mess, which is probably what's gonna actually happen in real life in a hemorrhage. We don't make a huge mess. And so we're gonna draw up 60 cc's of fluid. The provider has to do a manual sweep of the uterus to get any clots out. And we want the provider to do that when we're ready. So if we are not ready and the provider does a manual sweep and we're still fumbling around with suction and getting our fluid drawn up, in that time a new clot can form. And what will happen is they insert that, now the Jada's not gonna work because a clot is gonna clog the suction. So the rule is, I'm ready, the provider's ready, then we're gonna go. So ready, go. The provider on go, the provider is going to do a manual sweep. The nurse is gonna probably have to remind them of that because they don't do this often either. They're going to insert the Jada, and just like a Foley balloon, they're gonna let you know when they're ready to inflate, and then we're going to inflate our balloon, take that off, draw up another 60, inflate another 60 for a total of 120. An easy way to remember your settings is perfect blood pressure, 120 over 80. 120 of fluid goes in your balloon, your suction is set to 80. I think I have to redo it. Okay, so once we fill with the 120, you want to give 3 to 5 minutes to let the Jada do its work. So you might start seeing blood coming down your tubing, going into your canister. That's okay. Just try not to freak out. Jada says give it 3 minutes. I mean, if we're reaching like 500, then maybe we have a problem and it's not working because, you know, we're exceeding even more QBL. But it should just be a slow trickle. Most of the time, you're going to see the blood go about halfway up, and then it usually stops right about there. This can stay in up to 24 hours. But it's really meant to come out when the patient stabilizes. So Jada says the average time is about 1 to 3 hours to remove it. We would just tape it to the patient's leg. They can get up and go to the bathroom if they don't have a Foley. A lot of times in a hemorrhage, they're gonna have a Foley at this point. We would just unhook from the suction and just have the patient hold their thumb over it or kink it, walk to the bathroom. All you gotta do is plug it back in. Excuse me, when we remove it, you're gonna get an order from the doctor. Okay, we're ready to remove it. You're gonna remove the fluid, and we leave the Jada in for 30 minutes. So, and the purpose of that is if she gets boggy and starts bleeding again, the Jada's still in place, and all we have to do is reinflate the balloon. So in 30 minutes, if she's firm, the bleeding has continued to subside, then after 3 minutes we can just slide it out, and that's it. Troubleshooting your Jada. If it's not working, 90% of the time it's an issue with the suction. So it's going to be troubleshooting your suction, taking it off, testing it, making sure we're at 80. The manufacturer says we can go up to 90 if needed. Your hard stops for this station, the things you have to know. You have to deflate the balloon before inserting it. So if there's any air in your balloon, it can cause risk for air embolism if for some reason that air would leak out. And then knowing your settings, 120 over 80, 120 of fluid, 80 of suction, and then you're ready, go. That does come from the manufacturer. They really recommend doing the ready, go. Okay, the nurse is ready, everything's set, the doc is ready to go, manual sweep, insert, so we're it's all timely and there's not time for clots to form. And then just verbalizing the removal, that we deflate the fluid and leave it sit for 30 minutes minimum. Okay, I hope that helps. It's in the in my office to play with and get your hands on it.